Thank you once again. My name is Oyebanji Akins, and we're live on CTD Among Blacks. For you listening to us, we want to appreciate you, to all our listeners, to all our fans, to everyone that be supporting this journey since we start. And this is gonna be our first audio episode, and we have my wonderful friend. Her name is Annie, which I'm gonna tell her to say one or two things to us when I'm ready to let her do that. And our topic today that we're gonna be talking about on our audio episode is it's called this connection between Africans and Black, and we're precisely gonna be talking about African American. And with me today in the house, I'm having Annie, my friend. So Annie, will you say hi to our listeners, to our fans all over the world, to our podcast people? Can you just say hi so that they can know you're here?
Hello, everyone.
All right. Thank you for that. Without wasting too much of our time, we'll be trying to, touch around what I call this connection, barrier language that we have between ourselves. For somebody like me, that I'm from Nigeria, having the privilege to live in the United States and being able to find myself, connecting with people, I've been able to experience a lot of things that I believe. Um, I come to a conclusion where people are saying, I don't understand what you're saying. It's like your English is kind of different from how you. Oh, so that's what you mean, man. Bad. I didn't know. You just have to things like that, and that's why I'm having Annie with us because to our best knowledge information we'd have about her, she's been to Nigeria. She's an African American. She's a very proud one, and she will be sharing some of her experience and what she has been over the time being friends with Nigerians and doing every business and every other thing, our lifestyle, things like that, to share with us. So Annie, I'm asking you this question. Do you think Nigerian, as precisely in America, do you think we have language disconnection in terms of some slangs or some English word we use that you guys don't understand?
Yes, most definitely.
Like, can you just give me an example?
I mean, for starters, y'all already have your own language.
What do you mean our language? Oh, you mean our
Your own language.
all right.
And some of the words y'all say, we don't understand.
Like, is it an English word or when we speak in our
English
language?
words or like pidgin English? Which one?
Oh, so the English one. Do we say some things in English word that you guys don't understand?
I mean, for me, I feel like the things I don't understand is like when y'all speaking y'all native language.
Oh,
But there are some words that y'all say that some people might interpret it a different way. Like if y'all be like, "Are you mad?" Somebody probably think you mad, but in y'all terms, it's like you crazy. You know?
that make a lot of sense though, because I've had an experience where I've had Nigerians where we talk and they be saying, "Oh, that girl called me stupid." And for me, I understand what it means. Just like what you said, like when we using our own English saying, "Are you mad?" It's just like me asking you. That's a very good one because I've never heard about an American telling me they understand when we use the word "Are you mad?" It's almost the same thing when American says, "Are you stupid?"
Right.
Now, when an American tell a Nigerian, "Are you stupid?" we take it over our head like, man, that girl really tell me like, "Am I stupid?" Because in my country, you can't even tell a man, "Are you mad?" It's like men to men can use it, but you hardly see a woman using it towards a man. If a woman uses it towards a man, that's a big fight. Like we already know this is going way high. So that makes sense now when you said that, because that's a big one about saying when we use the word like, "Are you mad?" A lot of people would think like Americans would think like we're really fighting, and we're very aggressive when we even use that word. That's a very quick catch one you did though. I'm telling you, because that's deep for a lot of Americans that doesn't understand that. To our listeners, to anywhere you might be listening to this, CTD Among Blacks, Annie just gave us a tip. If you're an American and you see a man which is a Nigerian using the word like, "Are you mad?" That doesn't mean it's telling you you're mad. It's just one of
Yeah,
our
psycho.
slang. Yeah, you want to say something?
I feel like that's y'all saying like, are you psychotic?
Yes, that's it. And I'm glad. How do you figure it out though?
I guess just being around, picking up clues.
And do you think we understand you guys?
Hmm. Um, I think some do. You just have to be willing to learn and understand on both ends.
Do you think in your own terms? Because I'll give you my how do you think? Because I feel like right now Africans and African Americans still struggle in
Mm-hmm.
terms of doing business, in terms of building friendship, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
building relationship, in terms of building home,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of even getting to know ourselves. I think the only thing we really so good right now is music.
Mm-hmm.
And recently on music too, I've been seeing things online which I don't want to mention, like we don't really do on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying to make now bringing the issue between Africans and African American in terms of music. Saying somebody sold so stadium within
Mm-hmm.
so days in this. But I don't want to go into that because that's not why we're here. We're talking about our own thing. And do you what would you think we could do if you're to advise an American trying to deal with Nigerian, an African?
Um, I think that you just have to be open minded and self conscious of yourself and of the person you're dealing with and their background. Because, it can be a disconnect, especially if you're not around Nigerians or people of a different culture. It's a lot of things that you don't know or you might misinterpret. So you can't be ignorant to it. You should just want to learn and kind of let them teach you what the way that they do things and
Mm.
what certain things mean without assuming, without knowing.
So if I just want to ask you this:
Mm-hmm.
what makes you determine you want to know?
Like me
Yeah.
personally, because I'm just a curious person. It's good. You should always want to learn. You should always be teachable.
Mm.
And when you see something or somebody that you don't know about, it's always interesting to learn. That's the point.
Mm. I'm gonna tell you this, then I will ask you your own experience about it.
Mm-hmm.
Adding to what you said, I think I agree with everything you said about saying the same way for Africans to come into American. Like I think we should be more open minded
Mm-hmm.
and don't use what we're being told, watch
Right.
to come into this country to have that perspective in our head. Because I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of Africans, I'm gonna say Nigerians, because most of my friends that I know, I think a lot are stuck in that part too about the projection that we're being told from home,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we deal with Americans. And most don't even want to deal with Americans. Like, nah, I don't want to go around those people because they have their own way. And I'm like, no, what do you mean? Like, they're cool people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a lot of friends, and I have friends that have turned to families. Then we're like modern families, and they're like, nah. I don't see that. We're like, no. They don't. They're ignorant. They're lazy. And I'm like, no, I don't think it's everybody's like that. We're lazy too. We're ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of Nigerians are ignorant in this country about what we think we know, depending on exactly what is happening. So what I want to add to that is do you have this experience? Because I have this. I've had the experience where Nigerians look at me and say, "Oh, you already turned into this name they call African Americans that I don't and condone, so I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
call it." They're like, "Oh, you're becoming like them already." Because, hey, you're gone. You're dressing, I'm like, what do you mean? I'm just being me. And I do have the experience where Americans who, I've seen an American walk up to me and say, "Oh, you think you want to become the next black American? Like, you think you can become us?" And I'm like, no, I never said I want to become you guys. I'm just me. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
but now, what I'm seeing in you now seems like you're becoming like us. You're trying to talk like us. I'm like, no, maybe I'm having both parties in me. I'm just doing me. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it saddens me when I see that kind of experience and how they project what I'm trying to do. And sometimes I'll be happy because they're seeing a different version of me. And a different version of African Americans, Africans.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now I can fit in both words because I embrace and I'm being open minded about both things.
Right.
So for you, do you ever have the kind of experience with African Americans telling you like, oh, you want to go to Nigerians, or you don't have it?
Of course, yeah. So I think it's kind of the same way in our culture. There's a stereotype about Africans, you know. So it's like, you want to be with them Africans. They did say that. I don't want to give out the stereotypes, but
So you guys have stereotypes?
of course, we have
Wow.
stereotypes. It's a lot of African Americans that don't want to deal with Africans.
For real?
Yes. A lot of my friends, I try to tell them, show them the way. And they
Wait,
just like,
so you,
no.
wait. I just want to like, I'm glad you said this because I'm not going to lie. I don't think I've ever think deep enough to, I've heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't know that some Africans with a level of, music, everything, they still don't want to be around like Africans.
I mean, for the most part, I'm gonna just say this. A lot of African Americans, when they see Africans, they see dollar signs, right? They figure most of them are scammers.
Whoa.
Or they arrogant, aggressive, abusive, controlling.
Wow.
Right. So that's why a lot of African American that I'm surrounded by, they don't really want to deal with Africans. And so they assume I'm just oppressed,
Wow.
just getting treated bad. And then they have some that's just ignorant to the fact that,
They just don't want to.
Yeah, some people feel that Africans are beneath them because of what we was taught.
Wait.
What we've seen on TV about Africa.
You guys think we're beneath you guys?
They have some that feel like that. They have some that don't know. I mean, now, it's growing. People are getting the knowledge, but it was a point where people feel like Africans is like, like where I grew up, ain't nobody seen no Africans for real.
Wow.
For real.
Dang.
Yes.
Wow.
The only Africans you see is on TV.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
In this.
I'm serious. But now I feel with social media and TikTok and stuff like that, more people are exposed to see.
Do you think now those people that doesn't even have nothing to do with the Africans, with the level of how, hip hop has merged into Afrobeats, will really be jamming our music, those people have changed? Do they come up to you and ask more questions about Africans, or they still ignorant like the same old ways?
I mean, my best friend, she still does not want to deal with Africans because she feel like they too pushy, they too aggressive, they mean, they arrogant. And it's not true for all of y'all.
All right, so I'm gonna say this: if Annie's friend might be listening to this, this is coming from me, not just I right now. Like, we're not aggressive. We're just like this.
She won't take it. I tell her that all the time.
No. What I'm saying is, sometimes I told someone, I said, that's a quote I wrote. I said, for you to want to change someone, try to live a day in their life. So when you live a day in their life, might give you a preview of what they're going through, so that you can understand how to approach the problem you want to change.
Right.
So if you don't really go a day in their life, or try to listen to them while they really tell you what is going on in their life, so that you can understand, like, okay, maybe my approach is wrong. Because if you don't do that, you can be thinking you're really helping, but you're not. You might be making things worse.
Right.
So to me, I'm saying this now to your friend if she's listening. Hopefully she listens to this part where I'm telling her, like, this is coming from me, not you. Like, we're all not like that. Now, part of the reason is you're giving me your time out of no time to come do this. That proves we're all not aggressive.
That's true.
That proves we're not all, however she might think she have in her head. And there's nothing wrong with how she sees us, though. And this, what I'm saying, doesn't mean she have to change her mind.
Right.
But what I'm saying is she can just do more research about it. And the research is not meant for herself, because I always say this channel is about, we're building awareness for the next generation. So when the grown-ups are growing up and they ask something about Africans, if they ask me in Nigeria, like, well, how do you see Black Americans? I should be able to tell them the real truth and make
Mm-hmm.
them understand. Like, you see what you guys think, it's
Right.
not like that. It's like
Mm-hmm.
this. The same thing applies to Americans to like if they have kids growing up, they can be able to tell them like, in my own time, they
Mm-hmm.
told me Africans are like this, but no, those people are like, nah, they're like us. Because what
Right.
I've seen is we're all the same, man. We do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, when we say, "Are you mad?" It's the same thing when you guys say, "You stupid." Like, are you
Mm-hmm.
stupid? It's just the same way. We just find our own way of doing it. What I want to talk about more is: do you think if we build that language disconnection between us, it's gonna help the community to be more growing? Like, do you see us growing, or you think with the level of people that we still have in our different race
Mm-hmm.
backgrounds that it's gonna make it worse? Do you think it's gonna be more better? Or it's gonna make it worse?
In terms of what?
In terms of there's some people that we can't change their mind. Maybe we like it
Mm-hmm.
or not, they will never change. For me, my own side, I always call them traditional Nigerians. There's
Mm-hmm.
some Nigerians that they will never leave our culture,
Right.
which I don't say leave our culture, but our way of life
Mm-hmm.
is still stuck with.
Mm-hmm.
And if we open this thing awareness, I think people like that might make it. Do you think they make it worse? Because if African American keep coming across the wrong African, they would think all
Mm-hmm.
Africans are bad.
That's true. That is true.
You understand?
Yes.
And if Nigeria keep coming across the wrong African American, it's just gonna say in our head like, man, I don't care what you guys telling me. Over the time I've tried, so
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think it's more of what we're doing right now is gonna benefit us, or it's gonna make it worse?
I think it'll be beneficial. It'll just take. I think everybody need to be accountable for, their own actions and the impression that they leave on the people they interact with. If they want to kind of erase the stereotypes on both ends, Nigerians, Africans have a view of American women, but if you keep coming across the American women doing the same thing, then how you gonna say that's not how we is? Same way as for Africans. It's a lot of people that have the same stories of, bad things, which is, most of the time you don't hear the good things. You always hear about the
Mm-hmm.
bad things, and it kind of feed the stereotype as well. But I feel like if people make an effort to kind of erase the negative thoughts when they interact with people, like how we interacting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting to know you, you getting to know me. That don't mean everybody like me. That don't mean everybody like you. Because there's always a bad seed in every culture, every group of people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just a working process.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. For you still listening to us, maybe it's afternoon, maybe it's night, maybe it's evening, maybe it's early in the morning. Maybe you're driving right now, or maybe you're trying to make your breakfast, or maybe you're trying to make your lunch. Um, we are still live on CTD Among Blacks, and you can check us out on Instagram, CTD Among Blacks, and our website is www.ctdamongblacks.com. And if you feel like you would like to sponsor, or you want to donate, or you have any questions, or you would like to be on this podcast, or you have anything you would like to give us some kind of tip or advice, our email is ctdamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamongblacksamon are on Spotify, we are on iHeartRadio, and we are on Amazon Music. Getting back to what we're saying, I'm gonna ask you this question: can you just share your experience about what you think about Africans? No, Africans in general, and going to Nigeria. What would you tell people that never tried that journey, and what did you learn? Like, what was you going to Nigeria and coming back? What has it done for you?
So I think everybody should go.
For real?
Yes, I think everybody should go because it's very eye opening. You know, you can, especially when you come from where I came from, growing up, and we didn't see.
Can you? I just want to do this because you're representing. Thank you for coming on our channel. You're gonna be the first African American, coming to us, and I would like you to represent in a full way, but not just telling us we're live in Houston right now, Houston, Texas. But can you tell us where you're from so that they can know you represented them right now?
So I grew up in Beaumont, Texas,
Okay.
and apparently that's the country compared to Houston.
Oh, all right.
So when I grew up, it was no Africans.
Wow.
Yeah, I could remember if you was dark skinned, they would call you, you know,
All right.
something.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get what I'm saying? And so, you would see Africa, feed the children on TV and stuff like that. So that's all we knew. We wasn't taught that in school. Slave trade, that's it. That's all we knew.
Wow.
Right. And then, when I kind of started going to Houston, started getting exposed, I'm like, oh my God, okay. So when I finally went to Nigeria, it was just eye opening. It was very humbling for me.
Hmm.
And it just made me realize that we are slaves to this country. I need to.
Wait. So you felt like you guys are a slave in America?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's what I felt like. And and it's crazy because a lot of people feel like people in Africa is poor, but they not.
Wow.
They have poor just like they
It's
got
like
poor in America.
Yeah. Hmm. Wow. So you really feel like they lied to us when you get to Nigeria? Like, what your expectation wasn't even what you was way higher than what you.
Right.
Wow.
It was way higher. And I ain't gonna lie, I just felt like I didn't have no worry in the world. I didn't have no worry in the world.
Wow. You didn't feel like you gotta be worried while you're in Nigeria?
No. And I know a lot of people are fearful because all the stuff they put on the news. I was safe. I wasn't fearful. I had the time of my life. I can't wait to go back.
Wow.
It was very humbling. It was very humbling.
I keep saying wow for no reason. I don't know, because I'm impressed because a lot of people doesn't. So I'm gonna tell you like this too. For us watching when we're coming from Nigeria down to this place, the movie we always watch is more like when you say black man, you gotta move away. Like when you see them, I don't want to put some kind of name they put to it, but they give us so much where we're not supposed to even say hi. And that's why sometimes you see some Africans don't like to, reach their hands and say hi to you or try to talk to you. And it is not because we don't want to. Some of us too are just stuck to what we're being showed. And the fact that when we go down to this place, we met everything just how it is. It's just the version of you guys that are different from everything.
Right.
The projection they gave us for African American is not what we met. And I think that's one of the reasons why we struggle in times of being close to each other, because sometimes we might want to be close to you guys and we remind ourselves like, this are not the people you should be close with.
Yeah, I think, like I say, I think it's just, I can kind of see how when I went to Nigeria, I can kind of understand why, some Americans, me personally, when you come across Africans, you feel like they so entitled, they cocky, they arrogant. But if I'm in Nigeria, it's different as far as trying to come up. You really got to hustle. So if I'm hustling from age 9, 8 years old, trying to sell bags and stuff, and then I make it, of course I'm going to come over here like, yeah, I made it. I had to pay for school. I had to do this.
Wow. Wow.
But they still don't get out the right to be as arrogant. But I can kind of understand.
No, that makes a lot of sense though, because going through what you're saying will make somebody, when they made it in life, they don't care about whatever you want to tell them. And I think that's deep. That's deep, because that's one of the reasons I think when we come here, we feel like you guys have more opportunity than us.
Right.
Because we have to really, really hustle.
Right.
Like, we have to really, really go through it before we can get it where we're at. And I think that's one of the reasons why we get there and we realize you guys are having some kind of opportunity from the government. We get mad, like, why are you guys still complaining?
Yeah, it makes sense.
That makes sense too, because I never see from... Thank you very much for coming on this channel, because this has been eye-opener for a lot of things. I think I know that I don't even try to look at it from you guys' perspective. Even though I'm feeling like I understand, you just give me some key things that we really, really don't focus on.
Yeah. And I think when I went to Nigeria, when I came back, I made a lot of major decisions because I was like, I can make a decision. I have the free will to make a choice. And they got people out there that don't have a choice. They have to do things that they might not want to do. And here I am in America, just fiddling in my thumbs, wasting time when I got all this stuff at my fingertips.
Hmm.
It's not easy.
Hmm. Thank you very much for saying that. And I'm gonna say this for so I'm gonna say Nigeria like this is my own perspective for African American that would like to go home. We have ignorant people back home too.
Mm-hmm.
That they don't care you guys are African American even though you're Nigerian. But I can tell you 99.9% of Nigerians that will see African American back home will welcome you guys like goddess. Like you guys are like I don't even know how to say. We just back when we just love people coming from here down home. Like we'll be so joyous to want to show you around, respect you, be around you, get to know you, and to possibly build a relationship where we can still talk even though you're back here. Now, most of the time, I'll be talking to you just to be able to understand what is going on in the country. Like, can you help me to get this thing, please? Can you help me to buy all these things? And I think I have a friend of mine that moves. She's born here in the United States. Her dad is a Nigerian. And right now, she's in Ghana. She left United States to go open a business in Ghana.
I can see myself doing it.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
And if I could tell now, I think she's been in Ghana for almost like 2 years or 3 years. And she's doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
She's even trying to with me and her talking about how I could advertise her business on our channel. Like just to bring more awareness. Like somebody from the United States decided to go back to Ghana to go start a business. And she's been really, really doing fine. And for me, at first, I'm like, why would you want to go back to Ghana to go open business? But over time, I started seeing what she was doing. Like, this a big, bold step. The same country we are leaving to come here, somebody decided, like, you know what? I'm going back there. I'm going to leave and I'm going to still make it. And she's doing fine. And shout out to her. I want to add this to the question just to get your own view. And it's, what do you think? Can you just give me a snip of what you think about our relationship in terms of getting close that we're just talking about being awareness? Do you think it's going to have any effect on the kids, the next generation? What can you say in that area about African American and Africans maybe getting married and having kids? Do you think it's going to play a big role in making those kids more better? Like, it doesn't even put them in a good space, or you think they are writing their own story in a different way? A lot of African American will tell you, I don't even know my root. Like, do you think that kind of relationship give those kids a new name or a new story to talk about?
So you asking me like if a African American and a African come together and have kids?
The impact on the kids and
I mean, I think it would be a good thing for the child, but it'll have to take for the African to instill the culture into their child. They'll just have to instill the culture so that they'll know where they come from, and I don't think it'll be a problem.
All right, I think I only have more 2 questions before we go. And the question is, what would you advise an American, a Black American, African American that would like to go to Nigeria? One, that let's say a lady comes to you right now. Let me put it like this, and she just met an African, Nigerian precisely. What would you advise her? If she's telling her, "Oh, sis, can you give me some 2-3 words?" What would you like to tell her? But real with your advice are based on everything you know.
You want me to be 100% honest?
Yeah. When I mean 100% honest, don't put your feelings into this. Just
I'm not gonna put my feelings into it.
Yeah, just be just give it to you.
Okay, if one of my friends came up to me and told me that she met a Nigerian guy and he wanted, I say, well, how old is he? depending on his age.
How does the age has to do with it?
Personally, I feel like if they like 30, 32, they probably married. If they got a child, they most definitely married. That's me, from my experience.
Okay.
And if they not married, you should ask, you got a wife back home? No, I'm serious. I'm so serious.
No, I'm just laughing.
I'm serious.
No,
So you got a wife
know.
back
I'm just laughing because
Okay.
those are practical things we go through when
Because
we talk
it's real. This is real.
when we talk to Americans, like, oh, I know you got somebody back home. Just tell me the truth.
Because a lot of people won't be honest, and they really do. And then you ask, is they Christian or they Muslim? They Muslim, okay.
But does that determine you guys having something to do with them or not? I have a reason why I said that.
I mean, it just depends. Some people are okay with, you having a wife back home. Some people are not gonna go for it.
The reason why I say that is I've been in a place where I was having a conversation and a lady was talking and the guy had this question. He said, so if an African have somebody back home and they told you they're not really into themselves anymore, would you believe it? The girl was like, no. The guy now said, if you meet a man right here, African American, that told you like, oh, I'm staying in, I'm staying in Washington D.C., but I was once married and we kind of split, and I'm in Houston. I would like to marry you, stuff like that. And the lady was like, yeah. And the guy said, what's the difference between the two of them? And the lady was like, yeah, because he's in the United States, this is back home. And the guy said, what the lady failed to understand is, sorry, my engineer. I'm sorry to do that just one more time. So if you're listening, shout out to my engineer right here. Adebayo has been wonderful. It's been one of the most wonderful person in making this come to reality. So shout out to you. Sorry of messing up with the mic. So back to what I was saying. And the guy said, what we all fail to understand is we are all being conditioned in how we see things. He said, you're conditioned in how you want to see an African man, and there's a way you condition your mind in how you want to see an American man. This is my point. He said, it's easy for an African American lady to date a guy that have 4 baby mamas. And the baby mamas still come at you. But you find it so hard to believe an African guy that told you I was once married, but I'm divorced, I'm United States, and I would like to marry you. And the lady was like, yeah, because it's far, blah, blah, blah. I can't really tell. And the guy said, does that change the relationship you have with that man? Because if you really understand that man and have a good relationship with him, you might find out the truth. Because at the end of the day, the truth you found out is the same thing you're doing with your baby daddy thing. And the girl was like, you know what? I'm not about you. Africans know how to turn everything around. So I'm just hearing your opinion. Can you give me your own opinion on that kind of a thing? Do you think, even though Africans are trying to be real open-minded, Black Americans are trying to listen to believe, or you just want to listen for the sake of listening and like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I can't do this.
I think that it's already a stereotype that all y'all got wives back home. That's a stereotype. And for me personally, I feel like, from my understanding, y'all take marriage more seriously than us. If an American get married, we can get a divorce. We ain't got to answer to nobody. Y'all, you be married and you want to get a divorce, your mama not going for that. You got to go talk to the elders. Y'all still married in y'all country.
Man,
so you might be in America saying you divorced, but you're not divorced. That wife is in Africa, and nobody want to deal with that.
How do you really be thinking like this, girl?
I'm not a fool.
Anyway, I like the fact that you're open-minded about what you're saying. That's the point, because it takes two to tango.
You just gotta know what you're getting yourself into. If you're okay with that, then hey, do that. But me, no, because it runs too deep. Like, the marriage in y'all culture runs too deep. It's real deep. So you can say that you getting a divorce, but that don't mean it's true.
So if a man is 30,
you don't need
32,
a paper.
If a man is 30, 32, no, it's not like that. So let me give an answer to that anyway. So listen, I'm gonna tell you. You're right. Africans, my tribe, which is your bad tribe, we don't joke with marriage. And yeah, we do divorce too now. That's the truth. People just don't know. Like it's so bad back home, like bad. People been married 3 months, they tell like I'm done. Like Nigerians are becoming more like Americans. Like they will tell you like they even make it worse now. They can go on social media and tell you, me and my husband, we ended today. Pray for us, and nobody should ask questions. There have been big names back home. So our divorce rate has been high now. Even though the perspective you guys think we value marriage, we don't break homes. But lately, nah, it's been high a little bit.
But how will you know? So this is what I'm thinking. If I, especially if I'm Nigerian and I have so much respect of my parents and what they think of me, and I marry somebody in Nigeria because maybe they want me to marry in my tribe. I know I don't want to be with this person, but I know I'm finna go to America, so y'all can think what y'all want to think in Africa. But I'm in America and I'm doing my own thing. So it's kind of like, and that happens. So how will we actually know if you're really not married or your family don't think you married?
So, like you said, I think the main thing is about the stereotype we have towards everything. Because I think if we truly involve in people's life, we know maybe when they're lying or when they're telling us the truth. Yes, that's one thing I'm gonna say first. That's one.
True. Yeah.
And secondly, what I would say is, there's no way you can know until you give that person a chance to know them.
Right.
If you don't know me, how are you gonna maybe I'm telling you the truth or maybe I'm lying? Now, if you've built a stereotype mind towards me,
Right.
you will never know.
Right.
Because no matter I'm showing you, you're stuck with your no.
That's true.
And there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, you shouldn't assume, but it'll like you say, the more
think-
you get to know a person,
Yeah, I think
it's gonna show up.
you've said it all about saying people should be more open-minded, not to be ignorant. I think
Right.
that's the key word I will add to that. The last question what I want to add to it, and it's about how do you think I don't know how you might feel about it though. How do you think Nigerian women see African American women that are getting married or dating Nigerians?
Mm,
Give it to me like however you feel. What do you think?
I mean, I think they have some that's okay with it, and they may have some that's not okay with it because they have some African women that feel like, African American women are beneath them. And because they men ain't choosing them, they feel some type of way. But they don't have nothing to do with us because apparently when they come to America, I guess they just lose all their tradition and try to be African American and go overboard with it. To where a lot of the African men don't want to deal with them. And so they kind of, shade us sometimes. They have some that's nice, but honestly, personally, I don't have nothing against them, but the ones that I've dealt with, they wasn't always so nice. Besides the ones that, do my hair.
Oh,
But
so Nigerians do your hair?
Yeah, I have some, I've come across some that was like really, really nice.
Wow.
But I've come across some, especially like if you with a Nigerian man, they'll kind of look at you somehow.
Wow. Anyway, sir, I'm just gonna say this. I don't think they mean no bad. I just think the same problem we all have about how we see ourselves has made them to build some kind of way, and that's how they see African American too. I don't think Nigerian women mean anything bad. It's just the aspect of like, why should I be around them? Why should I do this? And that's what is happening. So, thank you for coming. It's been wonderful having you on this channel. I'm so glad you're able to share some information with us, and hopefully we're still gonna have you more. And thank you for allowing us to do the first audio episode on our channel. And for you listening, I hope you were able to listen to us to this moment. I hope we've been able to bring more awareness to your thought. I hope we've been able to bridge the gap about some things you know and you think you don't know. And I hope we've been able to educate you in many ways for you to see things differently. And we'll be running everything up by saying thank you for listening. Please subscribe, share, tell your friend about it, send it to your group. Everywhere you know that things that has to do with black race is being embraced and welcome, kindly share it with them. And one more time, I remain Ofresh, and you can call me Ibanji Akins. We're still live on CTD Among Blacks, and you can join us on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Our email is ctdamongbblacks@gmail.com. And you can check us out on our website. We'll be dropping articles on our blogs that you can read. We have 12 steps to hustle from home. We have 7 steps on how to start your own podcast, because we're able to share how we started and things you could buy if you want to start your own podcast too. And you can subscribe to us and to join us in this team of, creating history for the next generation to come. And Annie, thank you very much for coming. It's been a privilege having you on our channel. Hopefully to have you more. Until the next episode, please remain happy, share happiness with your neighbors. And like I always tell people, it might not make sense now, but definitely will make sense in the future. Thank you. I remain fresh. Until next episode, stay safe and be happy. Thank you.